welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence of Sound on the Consequence Podcast Network. Thank you so much always for checking out the episodes here, making your way. You know the drill. If you like what you see and what you hear, hit that subscribe button. We release 3 interviews every single week, so it's a great way to keep up with the whole thing. Today, I'm so happy to be talking once again with James Mercer of the Shins. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great over here, man. First off, so the Shins, you're back with a brand new single, The Great Divide. It's an epic sounding song. I thought we'd start with the easy part of this. Like, what inspired this one? What brought this song on for you?
It starts with John Sortland, our drummer. He had put this little bit of music together on his iPhone while we were on tour. And he was showing us, and I just started singing to it. And it just really was a fruitful little moment there. A bunch of cool melody ideas happened. And so it starts there. And then we start working on it in the studio. The pandemic hits. So we're just slowly trying to get through this thing. And so it gets a little bit of an influence with this new world we're in. And yeah.
Yeah, there was something, I think, in the press release you were talking about, a blend of futurism and nostalgia, which was a really interesting take. Can you explain that a little bit?
Well, I mean, that's just my take on it, I think, but it's got a lot of very modern sounds in it, but then it's got my acoustic guitar, and just other, some of even the synth sound like vintage synth stuff. So to me, and I always like that. That's kind of the Broken Bells aesthetic, is just things that are futuristic and also things that sound like they're 50 years old.
Yeah. And your sound has evolved, and I say yours meaning right now specifically the Shins. I mean, that's evolved over the years, but I feel like especially with this song, like it sounds like you're more and more bridging the musical gap of what we would hear you sounding like with Broken Bells and what you're sounding with the Shins. I mean, do you hear that same thing?
Yeah, I do. I totally get that. I think that it's stuff that just happens accidentally. I take each song and just try and figure out the best treatment for the song. And so there's a variety of different production styles with the Shins music because, each one's sort of treated as a little individual piece.
Yeah. Well, I do love the way it works. And I was thinking, back when we were talking about just a second ago with the futurism and nostalgia, I mean, there is a term, I don't know if this fits it, but retrofuturism. And it's
there you go. I like that. Yeah.
The way it's sort of tugging at each other, that one leg and I don't know. I think I'm trying to look for things that may not be there, but it's almost like the comfort food that everybody is looking for right now, you look for those familiar sounds, but you want to move forward with it. I don't know, as a songwriter, that's like, how much of that is on your mind? Because now you have a lot of past that people like. How much do you want to speak to that when you're writing a new song?
Right. Like, how much do I worry about the aesthetic that's already been established for the Shins and then leaving it? I do think about that sometimes. And I know there will be criticism because you see it in the comments, on YouTube and stuff. But I don't know. I have to dismiss it really because, like I said, every song has to be treated as its own little world. And I don't know what else to do. I mean, to be honest, I'm not that sophisticated of a songwriter or a production person. I just kind of do what I've got to do.
Yeah. Then I would, while I'm still drawing for lines to your past at least, do you find any relation with the song Weird Divide with The Great Divide other than just a choice of words?
Just a choice of words. But yeah, I did think about that. It's funny. Yeah, is it okay for us to have 2 different Divide songs spanning like 20 years?
Yeah. Well, that's what you said. I mean, so it's next year. It's next year that Inverted World turns 20. Yeah. I mean, a lot of artists would sort of be ramping up to that. And I know plans are in the air. I mean, nobody knows what to do. But you did the Twitter listening party with Timbers, which was really, really fun. Like, do you find that you're going to be, is that do you fall into that part of the nostalgia? Like, is it time to celebrate that beginning?
I think it would be cool to do. I have this secret desire to remaster the record. I just have a couple ideas of things I would change. So that might make it a little bit more of an interesting collectible item. Maybe we could have a new vinyl pressing with a new mastering job. Not that John Golden didn't do a wonderful job with it. It's just, I think the world of indie music has changed so much now that there's a different aesthetic that we might just tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and we hear that all the time. I mean, artists do remastered records all the time. I think as listeners, that's the one confusing thing. Like, you can understand a new remix, but remastering, like, what exactly does that mean for an album like this beyond what you were talking about? I mean, is it just giving it that new punch?
Well, actually, Brian Burton, my partner in Broken Bells, he had a criticism. He said, you know, after listening to some sort of indie rock song on Sirius XMU, a Shins song came on from O Inverted World, and he said it was just really quiet. So things like that can be changed in mastering.
Mm-hmm. Everything just keeps getting louder.
I guess so, yeah. And you know, that's overall bus compression and stuff like that we could tweak.
Yeah. Well, so we've gone from present to past, and I'll bring it back to present because there was a song that you put out recently, Beyond the Great Divide. And when I have trouble saying it, Waimanalo.
Oh, Waimanalo.
Waimanalo.
It's a town in Hawaii that my family and I used to go to when I was a little kid. I was born in Hawaii. And so it's a wonderful beach. It's just a really beautiful part of Hawaii with tide pools. So you get the beach thing, but you also get tide pools and stuff.
See, now that's a song that does sound like musically maybe more of a connection to what you were doing in those early days.
Yeah, exactly. Production wise, and even it does sound retro. It sounds old. Yeah.
It's a cool song. I mean, these are cool songs.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what else are you doing? I mean, we have this new one off here, and you put out the one off, was it last year? And right now is that what we're getting? I mean, is this leading to something?
Right. Well, the Waimanalo and Trapped by the Sea were the two songs on that was a single that came out for the Fug Yep charity that went to help Richard Swift's family. Richard Swift, my buddy, died recently. And so that was a charity piece. So they asked me to provide that. And so that wouldn't be part of a new record. We're just taking things as they come. I mean, one of the things is, even if we were to finish an album right now, we couldn't tour for it, and maybe I'm just old fashioned, but that's the way I've always done it. You put out a record and you hit the road. So I don't really have the impetus to, put together a full album right now.
So right now it's just kind of like, hey, we're still here. Here's a song. Here's a really good song, but
exactly. And maybe it's part of a record that'll come out next year or something. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see.
But similarly, like, you'd been doing that with the Broken Bells too. I mean, it's been a while now since you guys pulled out a record, but we got Good Luck last year. Is that sort of the same kind of deal? Yeah, we were working on a record. We were very close to finishing the whole album, and the pandemic hit. And so we've got like a couple weeks that we need alone, and we can finish this thing. But it's just been waiting till the time is right. Brian is really busy. I've been busy sort of filling in the gaps with this project and other things. So but there's a Broken Bells record that we've got to finish. It's almost in the can. Does it ever seem like for you, like I'll reference another interview I did, and this was with Damon Albarn, who also has multiple groups that he's in. And his whole thing was all the music sort of just runs together and everybody else gets to choose what it's called or something like that. I mean, once you're going this far in and you're writing, like, is it just about the collaborator, or does it really seem, pun intended, divided still to you? You mean the difference between Broken Bells and the Shins? Sure, like sure. It's all coming from the same creator. I mean, and that's you to a big point. And
it is about the collaborator. Then I think there's a lot there. Brian brings a huge aesthetic influence there, and his production skills and his songwriting ideas. So I benefit a lot from his perspective on songs. And you know, this new Shin song is a collaboration with John Sortland and Yuki Matthews, writing wise, which is something unusual for me to do with the Shins. But so, you know, like I said, John really came up with the first little musical part for this song, and so yeah, it's very much something I would not have done on my own.
Yeah. Well, I'll wrap up the other collaboration you've recently been a part of with Bruce Hornsby's new record with a non-secure connection. What was that like for you working with Bruce?
Oh, it was easy, man. He is just a really charming guy, and I am really pleased to have made his acquaintance. He's a really nice guy. You know, he had the whole song written, and basically I had to just sing the verse as he sang it. And I did my best to get it as close as I could. I think there's a couple moments where I jump off the script a little bit and do my little tweaks. But yeah, it was all laid out for me, and I was honored to be part of it.
Yeah, it's cool stuff that you guys are doing. I'm always such a big fan of what you do, James. So thank you so much for continuing to do that. And thank you so much for taking the time to you know, talk about the Great Divide. If this is, you know, the good tease for what's to come, I can't wait.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you, Kyle.
All right, thank you. Take care. We'll see you around.
All right, see you, buddy.
Bye.